The doll that aged. Dr. Sarah Whitmore thought she'd seen everything in her 30 years as a pediatric oncologist, but nothing had prepared her for what walked into her office that October morning. The little girl couldn't have been more than 6 years old, clutching a porcelain doll with an iron grip that turned her knuckles white. What disturbed Sarah wasn't the child's obvious illness, the hollow cheeks, the brittle hair, the translucent skin that spoke of aggressive cancer. It was the doll. The doll looked exactly like the little girl, down to the same golden curls and blue dress. But while the child appeared frail and sickly, the doll radiated an unsettling vitality. Its painted cheeks were rosy pink, its glass eyes bright and alert, and its tiny porcelain fingers seemed to flex with hidden life. "This is Lily, the girl's mother, Rebecca," explained with hollow eyes, "and this is her special friend, Rosie. They've been together since Lily was diagnosed." Lily hadn't spoken since they'd arrived, but she whispered something to the doll that made its head seem to turn slightly towards Sarah. The movement was so subtle that Sarah convinced herself she'd imagined it. "How long has Lily been ill?" Sarah asked, reviewing the transferred medical files. 6 months, Rebecca replied. "But the strange thing is, the doll used to look sick too. Lily found it at a garage sale, and it was old and cracked, with faded paint and missing hair. But as Lily got worse, the doll got better." Sarah dismissed this as a grieving mother's imagination. Cancer did strange things to families' perceptions. But as she examined Lily over the following weeks, she began to notice disturbing patterns. Each time Lily returned for treatment, she appeared more withered, more translucent. Her cancer was aggressive, resistant to every treatment they tried. But the doll, Rosie, seemed to grow more vibrant. Its porcelain skin developed a healthy glow, its hair became fuller and more lustrous, and its dress appeared newer, as if time were reversing itself. More unnervingly, Lily began to age rapidly, not just from illness, but truly aging. Her face developed wrinkles, her hands grew spotted and gnarled, and her hair turned gray and thin. At 6 years old, she looked like a tiny, ancient woman. Meanwhile, Rosie began to look younger. "Doctor," Rebecca whispered during one appointment, "I think something's wrong with that doll. Last night, I could have sworn I saw it blink, and this morning, I found it in a different position than where Lily left it." Sarah suggested psychiatric evaluation for both mother and daughter, but Rebecca refused. "You don't understand. That doll is keeping Lily alive somehow. I'm afraid of what will happen if we take it away." Sarah's skepticism crumbled 3 weeks later when she witnessed something that defied medical explanation. During Lily's chemotherapy session, the child suddenly flatlined. Her heart monitor showed a complete cardiac arrest. As the medical team rushed to resuscitate her, Sarah noticed that Rosie, sitting on the nearby chair, appeared to convulse. The doll's porcelain chest rose and fell as if breathing, its glass eyes rolled back, and its mouth opened in a silent scream. When they successfully revived Lily, Rosie went still again. But in those few minutes, the doll had aged. Its rosy cheeks had dulled, fine cracks appeared around its eyes, and its golden hair looked slightly brittle. Lily, impossibly, looked marginally better. That night, Sarah broke into the hospital to study the doll more closely. She found Lily's room dark except for the dim glow of medical equipment. Lily slept fitfully, but Rosie sat propped against the window, its glass eyes reflecting the moonlight. As Sarah approached, she could have sworn she heard whispering, soft, childish voices speaking in a language she couldn't understand. The doll's mouth wasn't moving, but the sound seemed to emanate from within its hollow porcelain body. Sarah reached for the doll, and its head snapped toward her with an audible click. "Don't touch her," Lily's voice croaked from the bed. But when Sarah looked, the child's eyes were closed, her breathing steady. The voice had come from the doll. "She's mine now," Rosie's painted lips moved with Lily's voice. "We made a deal. She gets to stay young and beautiful forever, and I get to grow up. I get to live." Sarah stumbled backward as the doll continued speaking with Lily's vocal cords. "Do you know what it's like to be trapped in porcelain for decades, Doctor? To watch children play with you, love you, then grow up and forget you. To never age, never change, never truly live. Lily offered me something no one else ever has, her life force, her years, her very essence." The doll's glass eyes focused on Sarah with impossible awareness. "I was made in 1892 by a toymaker whose daughter died of tuberculosis. He poured his grief into my creation, binding his child's soul to mine. For over a century, I've been passed from child to child, watching them grow while I remained forever static. Until Lily." Sarah reached for her phone to call security, but her hands wouldn't obey her commands. The doll's influence was spreading through the room like a psychic fog. "Lily isn't dying of cancer, Doctor. She's dying of old age. Every day, every hour, I take more of her years, her memories, her experiences, her future. All of it becomes mine. and in return, I keep her alive just long enough to complete the transfer. The heart monitor beside Lily's bed began beeping erratically. The child's ancient face contorted in pain, her withered hands clawing at the sheets. "It's almost finished," Rosie whispered. "Soon, I'll have all her years, and she'll have none left to give. Then I'll be free to find a new body, a real body, while she becomes a doll, forever young, forever beautiful, forever trapped." Sarah watched in horror as Lily's hair turned completely white, her skin becoming paper-thin and mottled with age spots. The child was literally dying of extreme old age while the doll grew more lifelike with each passing moment. "Help me!" Lily wheezed, her voice barely audible. Sarah lunged forward and grabbed the doll, intending to smash it against the wall. But the moment her fingers touched the porcelain, visions flooded her mind. She saw the doll's history, decades of children who had loved it, played with it, and eventually forgotten it. She felt its desperate loneliness, its hunger for true life, and she saw its victims. Dozens of children over the years who had aged to death while the doll absorbed their essence. But she also saw something else, the doll's weakness. "You can only take what's freely given," Sarah gasped, understanding flooding through her. "Lily has to choose this, but she's too young to understand what she's choosing." The doll's expression twisted into fury. She made her choice. She wanted her cancer gone. She wanted to live, not to die of old age instead. Sarah turned to the withered child in the bed. "Lily, can you hear me? You don't have to do this. Take back your years. Take back your life." The ancient eyes in the child's face flickered with recognition. "Roman, I want to be 6 again. I want to play and laugh, and grow up normally. I want my mommy." "No." The doll's scream shattered the window behind it. But it was too late. Lily's declaration of her true desire broke the supernatural contract. Color flooded back into her cheeks, her hair darkened to its original gold, and her features softened to those of a 6-year-old child. The doll began to crack and crumble, aging decades and seconds. Its porcelain skin turned yellow and brittle, its glass eyes clouded over, and its hair fell out in clumps. As it disintegrated, Sarah heard the faint voices of all the children the doll had claimed over the years, their souls finally released, their stolen years returned to the cosmos. When the sun rose, nothing remained of Rosie but a pile of porcelain dust and tattered fabric. Lily made a full recovery? Her cancer went into complete remission, baffling her doctors. Sarah never told anyone what she'd witnessed that night, but she did recommend that the hospital's pediatric wing be blessed by clergy from multiple faiths. Rebecca found a new doll for Lily, a simple, mass-produced toy with no history, no soul, and no hunger for what didn't belong to it. But sometimes, late at night, Sarah still heard whispers in the hospital corridors, soft, childish voices speaking of deals and bargains and the terrible price of wanting to live forever. And she knew that somewhere out there, another doll was waiting. Another toy with hungry eyes and painted smile, ready to offer desperate children a bargain they couldn't possibly understand. The doll that aged had been destroyed, but the hunger it represented, the desire to cheat death and steal time, was eternal. And dolls, Sarah had learned, were the perfect vessels for that ancient evil. After all, what child could resist a toy that promised to take all their pain away?